Dude, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Steam review for this game is not good. Which, I'm gonna be real, I kind of disagree. So I think the English review is a lot better. So, Brute Protocol Star Resonance getting pretty bad review on Steam. It's overall getting better because I have to say the game do get better and better as we progress because the game is so time-gated right now. I completely forgot how time-gated the game is on the first day. Like when I was playing yesterday, the only thing you can do was the Muku dungeon. There weren't even commissions, there's no guild daily, there's nothing. Like you can only do the goblin dungeon. So at most you have like 2 hours of gameplays. And the class are so wonky. I'll be honest, the class are so wonky until you unlock the subclass. And it's just so different. You see people saying marksman is so auto battle friendly and you just auto battle. But then you look at the marksman guy I have and it's like incredibly detailed for a reason. It's because it is kind of true that it's very good on auto battle, but it doesn't mean that the class doesn't have depth into it. You see that there's an entire 20-step rotation that you can actually do if you're trying to be very, very efficient at end game, where you calculate your stacks and time it exactly and pump damage that way. So I feel like when the class eventually do unlock, when you're able to get your skill and talent up, there's gonna be way more complexity on playing the class. But I do agree, I can see why I feel really bad right now, because you have like 3 skills and they're not leveled up. You have like no talent that really interact with the skills. Marksman has a photo bar that doesn't really do anything right now because only the subclass really interact with the photon gauge, and not right now. That being said, I think one of the biggest mistakes is definitely making a mega server, because the language in the world chat is going to be so bad, and you can kind of see people typing in different languages, and that's just always going to be bad. That's always one of the issues with European games, is that they always end up dividing channels into languages because you're mixing language, and you can see like the other languages have very negative review because I don't know what they're saying, but I'm sure like a majority of their experience is being impacted by the fact that there's just too many English spammers. Like, no flame to, I mean, this is French or Spanish, but like, I don't speak French and I don't speak French. So I don't want to see this, not because I hate it, but I can't read it. It doesn't impact my experience positively, right? So I don't want to see this, not because I hate it. Again, it's just like, it's kind of just in my way kind of thing. And that's the unfortunate truth of mega servers. With that said, I do think that it's not as bad as people say. Like, I would say like I do enjoy the game to a fair degree. But I can see why people have negative review, especially on the first day when there's like literally no content to play. I think the best way to play is just you come back and like a week later when there's like actual content. Anyway, let's look at some of the review. I'm mostly interested in review that are, let's say like 5 hours, because honestly, if you somehow play the 5 hour on the first day, it's a lot. I feel like you only really get 2 hours of content. You only really get 5 hours. I've never written a review for anything before, but after playing this, I feel compelled to. This absolutely slop represent the combination of cancer that they kill the MMO genre. There's so much finger involved in this game that I can't cover it all. Oh my god, how long is this? The music is nice until you realize the same 30%. Oh, I hate the music. The music was nice the first time, but man, as soon as I got into game, I hated the music. It's so repetitive. 80% of the chat is languages other than English. Yeah, exactly, right? It's just it's not a problem, but it's just annoying and bother you because like I don't know what this guy is saying, and you can't party with people who are in that. Like, imagine you queue into a parties and someone's trying to lead and they don't speak English and you have no idea what they're saying. Like, isn't that kind of annoying? Okay, moving to clunky combats, clunky. So these are things I don't agree with because it gets a lot better and better later. The movement in this game I think is really, really good. The 5 times jump, it feels so good to just jump around and stuff like that, right? I guess the problem is they do keep a lot of things dated, which is like why it feels bad. Because like when you open the door on MMOs, you want to like, when you open an amusement park, you don't want to gate off certain area, right? Because like if people see a big roller coasters, they're like, I wouldn't go on that roller coasters, and then you tell them like, no, that roller coaster is only open like next week. That kind of feels kind of bad, you know. The UI is absolutely painful. I mean, it is a mobile gacha game UI. It is a mobile gacha game UI, and it doesn't help that there's gacha in this game. I personally am so familiar with the UI that I don't really care. But I see why some people are turned away from the mobile UI. Even after 5 hours of gameplay, I started to make any sense of it. Very little sense and nothing explained. Yeah, I do think the game... Actually, no, that's not true, because there's guy in the game. People just don't click it. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Every single time people say this, they just didn't read or something like that. I think the game doesn't actively teach you about like getting gear in dungeons, but they do have a guy in the game, so it's hard to say they don't teach you about anything, right? In fact, their guy, the in-game guy, is actually one of the better ones out of all the game I played, I think, because they literally tell you all the dungeon mechanics. Oh, they even have the Ray guy. Look, they even have the Dragon guy already. And like let's say you look at this and you're like, look at this max. Oh, Mark II players. This is the Crystal max. This is the Portal max. And then there's the Poison max. There's a TP max. There's the Tank Buster max. And a space time where he freeze time and he jump on the mountain. Like, you see it, look at this rate, look at how many things there are in compared to the current dungeons, right? So like late game definitely get a lot better and more fun, especially with your class unlock and stuff like that. But the problem is that I would agree is that like you can't tell people that, oh, this game get better later, the late game is good, when the journey to the end game is not interesting and fun. No one is gonna stick around for a game that's supposed to be fun in the end game when the journey to get to the end game is not as fun. I would say the thing that this game does well, in my opinion, is that you don't have to grind ever to get to the end game. If you ever miss out on your daily, if you ever stop playing for a couple of days, and you hear that there's a good end game tomorrow, you can come back and catch up very easily. I think that is the biggest selling point of this game, which is currently not observable because we're on the first day and people want to grind. 2 weeks later, when you guys are like taking a break, when you guys are like, I want to go play Battlefield 6 instead, it's so much nicer to just be able to come back and instantly catch up and jump on things that are supposed to be fun. So I think that is not observable right now. That is one of the reasons why I expect review to go better and better over time. Like, people are saying it as well. Yesterday, it was mostly negative, right? It was like 20% of the people rated this negative. Today, it's like 50%. I think over time, you'll see more positive review. And I would say, like, even though I think the game has a lot of flaw, I do encourage people to stick with the game for a week. You don't have to grind. You don't have to go too hard. Just log in, check out what's up. Maybe like hang out with your friends. Type it in the chat. Just see what's new. You don't even have to play. Like, you log in, you don't play, it's fine. Right? Just give it a chance, like a little bit over there kind of things. Unfortunately, MMOs nowadays, a lot of MMOs are like, oh, you grind the first day because that's when most people are on and that's when everyone have fun. It's like going on a new adventure, right? This is not like a MMO where like you immediately go on a new adventure. I guess it kind of is on the first day, but like your adventure is so gated because you can't do any of the other dungeons and stuff like that. But when eventually the other adventures open, then that's when you get more stuff to look forward to. As a seasonal MMO, 14 hours on record, I have to leave a bad review. I love this game, I truly do, but as practicing something I cannot leave uncommented. Let's start with the million different currencies. I do think that the currencies things is a little bit of bad taste. Specifically something like the monthly pass. The monthly pass give you 300 unbound currencies, but then the rest of the currency is bound and you can not spend it on like the fashion item and stuff like that, which make the monthly card not actually that valuable compared to the traditional gachas game. I feel like this is like a monetization trap where people be like, oh, monthly pass is so worth it because they're so used to it in other games, and then they realize the orbs you get is you can't buy any of the fashion stuff with it, and so I feel like then you feel like you got duped. I do think the currency conversion is really bad in this game. This is one of the biggest complaints people have in China, where they're like, okay, so you're telling me in order to swipe, you have to start buying the rose orb, convert that rose orb into bound rose orb or something, and then you can convert it to Luno or something like that. It's like, no, the other way. It's like roll orb into unbound Luno, and then the unbound Luno gets sold back for a bound throw orb. So the game recycle you the game recycle currency like that, and they purposely did it to make it confusing. Because like if you do sell your orb, if you sell your money as a free to play, the orb you get are bound, right? But in order to buy money as a pay to win, you have to use the unbound orb. So the game pipeline your currency down like this, and you can't ever go back. You can't ever go back. So I do think that is a little I don't know what the word is, scummy to do it like this. It is definitely a monetization trap with other things in this game, right? Rose crystals or can practically buy anything, but need to get unbound Lino, which you need to sell stuff in the trade market, which is a huge red flag. This is something I have to tell you guys about. The unbound Lino currencies is very, very limited, and there's no good way to earn in the game. So it's not like you can grind. It's not like you can grind currencies and then buy the item out eventually. It doesn't work like that. This is like Luno is presented as if it was like a farmable currency because it's an in-game money, and there's an unbound version. So you think like, oh, there's a farmable unbound version, but this worked really like a premium currency, like the divine gems from Play and Souls. The game gives you a little bit every day from like the season hub to tease you a little bit and to get, so you can still get it. But majority of the unbound Luno is gonna come from people converting it into unbound Luno and then selling it to you. So that's how majority of the things come. Please don't not reset. What happened? Oh, and then of course all the gacha stuff, right? Like the gachas in this game, it's hard for me to say it don't matter. Honestly, when I was making these videos, every video I insist like, oh, the game is not like gachas, guys. The gachas like don't matter that much. But then I thought about it and I'm like, but then, you know, it do matter. The gachas do give you gameplay items that are significant with no other way of obtaining it except for the gacha. So like, I feel like it's very unfair of me to say like the gachas don't matter, even though I always insist like it's not a gacha game. Does not matter as big as you think. I keep trying to like sway people away from thinking this is a gacha game, but then when the game literally have a gachas that give you item that are unobtainable and it's like the best item in the game, it's hard for me to defend that, you know, like it's hard for me to defend that. And of course, like I spent the entire morning re-rolling to get this, and I was like, if I'm re-rolling myself, can I really argue this is not a gachas? I feel like it's getting harder and harder and harder, right? It get harder and harder and harder. I would still love to insist that this game is fine without the gacha and stuff like that, so don't be like too afraid like after playing so long. Let's look at one of the recommended reviews. 16 hours. I don't get why there's so many reviews are negative, because this game is really pretty and easy to get lost into. I think that's kind of true. A lot of people say the graphic is not very good, but I really think the graphic and the character customization is really, really, really good. I think the amount of cosmetic there is that you can customize is really, 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 really good. There's so many combinations. It might cost you money, but like, you know, like eventually you can customize your characters pretty well, especially if you're willing to spend a little bit of money, right? The gacha cosmetic might be a little much, but like I think the cosmetic in this game is pretty decent, good even. You'll flaw like any MMO, but the core experience is magical. I think the core experience is pretty good, especially when you're doing like party and raid for the first time with your friends. The most important aspect in this game is probably to play with your friends, because like when you're playing with your friends, even the smallest mechanics like the goblin dungeons is a lot more fun. Yeah, I think the time gate is the biggest problem. It's because it literally prevents you from experiencing the fun of the game. The story, I don't really care and stuff like that. I do feel like the Steam reveal is not accurate. A lot of people, especially the low hour one, are dropping reviews based on like first observation, like language, time gate, skip, and things like that, which are things that are getting less and less important as we progress, which is why you see more positive review as we progress. So yeah. Oh, by the way, okay, a lot of people complain about the auto battle, but like I always tell people I actually like the auto battle, because if you're a casual, if you're free to play, it reduces so much stress on you to not know what you're doing, and to like not do any damage because you're not sure about your rotation. And it really helped when it comes down to things like this. Like just farming the world boss, right? It's very, very casual. If you really try harding, you will not auto battle. You would actually do like a proper rotation, which could take a lot of like effort to learn and stuff like that. So like the auto battles, in my opinion, is like a plus. It really helped casuals. It helped to do all the content that are easies. But when you are trying to actually pump damage, it will not matter. It will not matter. Like, look at this 20-step progression. Look at this 20-step gear rotation guy I have. There's no way you can auto battle this. By the way, things like this are like the same every game. Like every MMO, your first like 10 hours is just like talking to people. Like these, like I feel like these are not very helpful review, you know. But apparently 10 people find, yeah, this is the most helpful review. 1,000 currencies, gacha, 5,000 present with no real value and overloaded UI. Damn, this is the biggest review right now.